Today I'm going to install the cheapest coilovers that I could find on eBay. It only set you back about 160 bucks. It seems a little too good to be true. And they kind of were. And you'll find out why. Alright, so I'm going to do a voiceover for this one. Just tell me what you guys think. If you'd rather me do it on camera, let me know. But, okay, so I'm going to go through step by step. First step is to jack up the car, obviously. Then you're going to need to remove your tires. Then you're going to need to unbolt your end links. It's a 16 millimeter socket and wrench. You're going to have to put the wrench on the back end of the on the back side of the sway bar, and use your 16 millimeter socket to get that out. Otherwise, it'll just spin inside. You have to have your wrench. Next step is to unbolt your shock collar bolt. And with all these instructions, I'm going to put socket sizes and whatever you need to use for that step up on the screen. Step 5 is to pry open the shock collar using I use a ball joint separator. You can use a screwdriver, just don't overextend it. Number 6 is to push down on your steering knuckle. Once you have the shock collar opened up a little bit, this will release the shock, and you should be able to push it down far enough to be able to get it out of the way. Step 7 is to unbolt the top hat. It's 1/2-inch bolts. There's 3 of them up on top, and you can mark them if you want to, but you want to make sure you put them in the back in the same place for the correct camber adjustment. Step 8 is to take your removed strut and release the top hat. There's a little bolt on top. You have to release it. Very careful whenever you do this. If you don't do it with any spring compressors, because it will shoot across the room if you're doing it on a floor, concrete floor, or if you're doing it outside like I am. I'm not too worried about what it's going to hit anyways. Step 9. Step 9 is to install the top hat on your new coilovers. So you're going to take the bolt off the top, and you're going to put your old top hat on top of there. Before you do that, though, I would definitely clean out the bearing, pack it with new grease, so that you don't have to worry about it getting worn out. Then just slip it onto your over the new coilovers, and then bolt up your old top hat. Unless you're buying new top hats, then it's a different story. Just use your new ones. But next step is to insert the coilover into the strut tower. So you can't put it into the knuckle first and go in. It won't work like that. So you have to put it in the strut tower first in order to get it out. Once you have it in there, I would bolt it up, at least like loosely. But after you get into the strut tower, you're definitely going to want to slip it into your steering knuckle, the bottom of your coilovers into your steering knuckle, and then if you need to use a jack, you can use a jack to get it to where you need it. Then you can bolt up your top hat to your strut tower. Just try to realign it where it was so that you get your camber correct. You're probably going to need an alignment anyways. It's pretty common, but if you find the right person, you can get it done for about 100 bucks, 80 to 100 bucks. I'm not going to be doing that because this car only gets driven maybe 4 times a year. So getting those kind of things done is not incredibly important to me. It's just something to go to car meets and have fun with my friends. Next step is to bolt the shock collar together. There's a little guide pin that's on the side of the shock tower, or sorry, on the side of your coilover, that'll slip right between the 2 points on there. There's a left and a right to these coilovers, so just be careful when you're putting it in. Make sure that little guide pin goes in between the space that's under your little shock collar. Don't forget to reinstall the bracket for your hoses and wires, because that would suck. Yeah, so now the front's done. So now onto the rear. The rear is pretty simple. Step one for the rear is to unbolt your shocks after you get your tires off, obviously. But you want to undo that because otherwise you're not going to be able to get your spring out. So in my case, I have broken spring on my passenger side, so it's going to be pretty easy for me to get this one out. If you want to make it easier, you can undo your sway bar. That's just an extra bolt you have to undo, but I didn't end up having to do it. You want to save the upper rubber pad on your spring and reuse it. Step 4 is to assemble your new spring and collar set together. Some of them come with little discs or washers that go inside the spring that hold everything together, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Step 5 is to install your spring and collar as one piece. You want to do that because it's really difficult to open it up far enough to get your little collar, your adjustment collar, in there after you have the spring in there. So don't forget to put your rubber pad on top, put your spring in, and then your collar, and then do your spring and collar as one piece. You're going to need to use the jack to compress it enough, to compress the knuckle enough to install your shock bolt. Once you get your shock bolt installed, you're technically done at that point. All you got to do is put tires and wheels on, and then take it for a test drive. It's gonna settle a little bit, not that much, not as much as people would hope. So that's gonna do it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks. See you next time.